Memory from Aurora, Illinois. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
How's it going?
Hey.
Really appreciate
Doing
you guys
well.
coming on. Let's dive right into it. So when and how do you guys form?
Want me to take that one, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, dude.
So, we've I think all played kind of in projects, in the past, and I had an idea. I've got lots of songs that I've got written, wanted to kind of create a project, and Eric and I worked together. So we ended up talking. He plays drums, and so the two of us started jamming together, started writing some stuff, and then COVID hit, which was a little bit of derailment, but we used it as an opportunity to record our first couple of songs and kind of get to know each other. We had one of my buddies play lead, and then eventually COVID was over. Played some shows even by ourselves. I think we just did a 2-piece once.
Yeah.
And then Josh joined, and now we have Sean. So I was just kind of mentioning, and I feel like this year has been like our first real year, if that makes sense, because now we got all four of us.
Right on. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
you guys, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, me and Josh actually went to college together. So when Scotty was mentioning to me, like, hey, do you know anybody that would like wants to play guitar? I was like, I got someone in mind that like rock music and stuff like that. So yeah, I brought in Josh, and then Sean. We sort of indirectly asked him if he was available to join us.
Yeah,
Cool.
if Sean wants to tell his story about it, and once he's settled in, but yeah, we appreciated Josh joining too.
I'm having a lot of
Yeah, it's been
trouble.
fun. It's been a blast.
Yeah.
I remember seeing. I think Eric, you ended up putting out a Facebook post or something like that,
Yeah.
and I was like, sure, because at that point in time, I just got back because I left the country right before COVID hit, and I think I just got back right when things were kind of opening up here.
Yeah.
And then so Eric ended up sending out a message, and no one like responded. So I was like, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to get back out there. Something's off the ground. So
For
That's
sure,
awesome.
yeah. And then Sean played our EP release show with a different band, but then, 9 months, a year later, that band was kind of breaking up or on hiatus or whatever, a little combination of both. You know how that goes, just doing their own thing. And I was like, hey, Sean, do you know any bassists?
Yeah, had just left a project. We had just split up with another project that I was in, so I was actually in between bands. I mean, this was like weeks, and then he messaged me, and I was like, "This must be a sign. That's crazy." So I was like, "It's funny you mentioned. Do I know any bassists? I am a bassist. I could play for you guys, no problem." And that's pretty much how it was. I was super nervous coming to the first practice because these three guys were really tight already. And I'm like a self-taught musician, so I've got no formal training at all. And Josh and Eric are both like went to school for like jazz and a bunch of like they know how to play. And Scott's writing all the songs, so I felt very inadequate next to these three. But I it very quickly, I think it like started out as you and I were gonna we had talked about me being like a temporary fit for you guys in order to find someone like solid, and then like 2 or 3 practices and I was like, nah, this is I'll hang out, I'll stay, this is fun.
yeah,
It was pretty cool.
yeah, the vibe, Sean,
Hey,
that you
yeah,
brought was
for
like
sure.
100%. I was like, this guy's fucking sweet. But I love the way Scott asked Sean. It's kind of like, do you know anyone going to homecoming?
Yeah,
Are
right.
you going with anybody?
Are you a girl? Do
Yeah.
you know girls who would like to go to homecoming?
There's always that one guy
Yeah.
that just has
I
a
guess
sick
that's
vibe.
Yeah.
So you guys just released Meant to Be. How's the response been to it?
It's been really good. Yeah, we've gotten quite a bit more playlisting, I think, than some of our previous singles already, which has been really cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice like sign, where you're never going to get on every single playlist you kind of like, ask about or whatever. And there's been several that where I'm just like, oh, that's awesome. Someone just added it, which is cool. even some, not just like, because you can kind of see, some of the playlists you get added to, stuff like that. So some of them are actual like, like some pretty cool playlisters, who added us even without asking, which has been really cool. So, so that's been really neat. And then, yeah, outside of that, we've, had some really good response from our family and friends and fans with the song. One of our buddies who's did a lot of photos for us and stuff was like really raving about it at the last show. So I don't know. What do you guys heard?
No, positive feedback too, my friends. One of my friends really hard to please in terms of like music. Just out of the blue was like, "Hey, yo, Eric, like this song really hits, man." And I was like, "I appreciate it." We put a lot of work into it, blood and tears, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I know the crowd reaction's been pretty good too.
Yeah.
Last couple times, like being able to see out. We played some pretty like in front of a lot of different people the last couple months or so, and being able to like look out and see people like bopping their heads and getting like really into it. So that's always good to see, because that's where people are gonna end up spreading the word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I once we're like maybe like 10 or like once we have started that song, you definitely see the energy of the crowd switch. It's really which is really cool. That to me, I was really solid and confident about the song once we started to like finalize all the recording and kind of like hearing it put together. I was like, oh, dude, this slaps. This is really good. But like, I mean, I was, it's our song, so maybe we just think that. But like seeing the crowd also like get hype when we start to play it is like, to me, just a massive compliment.
Yeah.
So that shows me that song actually is good.
That's awesome. So who do you guys record it with, and how's the process?
Yeah, so that's been real fun. Andre, I'm gonna butcher his last name, so I probably wouldn't say it, but he's got, I think he just LLC'd finally. So we've been working with him for a little while. But this year I think it's Dark Noise Audio is the name. Of his production company. But yeah, he actually did production work for us too. So the last couple times we recorded with him, we just kind of like showed up and and recorded the songs, tracked everything. This time we actually met with him ahead of time. I do a lot of recording myself as well. I can't mix or master to save my life, but I can capture audio, I guess. So I'll have like a demo fleshed out, and then we also kind of built on that, with him, and then he pointed out some things, came up with some really cool ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of like some cool points within like the songs, like where some ideas just bouncing back and forth between like us and with Andre, and it was good. Like it was like nice
He's got
to
a really good ear.
perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. He has a lot of experience working with a lot of people, so being able to have him being so open, tossing ideas back and forth was like really good. And then him being able to be
super creative.
Yeah, and then him to be able to like super quickly navigate when we would record something and hear it back, or delete it or move it into a spot so we could hear it in like real time, like that keeps like the flow going, as opposed to being like, oh wait, hold on, oh wait, I have to fix this, so it's funny because like you always hear people be like, yeah, the killer of creativity is slowing the process down, and him being able to keep like the flow going with us just like plugging in an idea, plugging in more ideas, and then him like being able to save it all, and we'll hear part back. And we're like, yeah, we like that. And then the next day we're like, actually, you know what? Play that other part we just did. Let me hear it with this. Or what happens if we do half of this and half of that?
Yeah, for sure. It's not a requirement either for a good producer or recording engineer. But he's also a really talented musician, which definitely gives him an edge, because he can pick up a guitar, bass, and be like, no, like this. Make sure you're not doing that or this. When you're playing that part, like mechanics. Like he's a very, very good musician. He's actually in Sorakai, if you're familiar with who that is. But
What's the name again?
Sorakai. They used to be Mokina.
Okay. Doesn't ring a bell. I'll have to check them
Yeah,
out.
for sure. They're relatively big. They had to do a name change. That's a fun story. That actually probably be cool if they. I'll have to tell them to hang out with you if they get the next thing out. I know they're working on some new stuff, but anyway, they're very talented, musicians, and so it's cool to have that as well because he can hear things and point things out. He heard a lot of melodies too when we were working on stuff. He's like, oh, we should kind of go there with that next, and that was really helpful. So, and this place was cool. We set up, did Eric did his drums, and then bass, then guitars, then vocals.
Right on. That's sick. So you guys are from Aurora, Illinois. How's the pop punk alternative music scene there? Do you guys have a favorite venue, favorite local band?
I'll let you guys talk first. I can go on about that for a while.
You can go on forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, from what I've seen and from the experience that Scott was able to give me, I started to see more bands now, like within that the genre and different genres as well too. So I don't know. I guess for me, because I'm not too exposed to it, like Scott is, it doesn't seem as big as it is like maybe like in other locations. And favorite local band, like besides ourselves, we're gonna play with them in January, and Sin's pretty dope.
Yeah, SIN period. Sin.
Yeah, SI.
They're good. Yeah, not period, just regular period. But no, they're really good. I really like there's a band called Bottom Bracket that's doing some really cool stuff. They're kind of a little bit more definitely Midwest emo, very kind of math rocky. They're really really cool. They're doing some neat things. There's actually a pretty healthy scene I think in the Midwest still. I think it's tough because we're also struggling. There's, like going to shows as a 17-year-old a little while ago, and then going to them now. They're still full, which is cool. There's still people coming out, and you're also talking about like a lot of the shows we're playing are smaller. But even like going to like Free Throw or going, whatever, there's still a really healthy scene. You know what I mean? With newer bands in the Midwest and probably in other places too. It's been cool to see how well like all of us can draw still, even though there's so much more to do. Like that's the one thing I think is going to be an uphill struggle for musicians kind of forever on, is that you can Twitch stuff, you can play all kinds of video games, you can watch all kinds of you can do anything now. Like I think we were talking before about like the Warped Tour days, Dave, and the cool thing about that was like you had to get like I was excited to get like We Are the In Crowd's EP, like, and I haggled for $4 because I literally had to like spend money on it, and I only had so much money, so I wasn't trying to rip them off, but I was like, hey man, it's $7, it's like $5, can you do $4? And they're like, sure, but like that was the one thing I had to listen to for 2 months. Do you remember those days?
That's really sick.
Yeah, I didn't do the LimeWire thing, but you did have that. But yeah, so it's now you have so much content. I do think it's a struggle to to compete with all the other things you could be doing with your time. And so one thing that we're super appreciative of, I think at practice we're going to record a little end of the year thank you, but we have had a lot of friends and family come out, you know what I mean, and come to shows and spend their time with us, and that's been really cool. So
I guess my answer is kind of more in the middle of like Eric and Scott here. Scott's like super deep into like everything out here, and I know joining in, I'm definitely more like level out of like heavier music. So trying to put myself in this world has been kind of interesting, being able to see, the dynamic. And it's actually cool because it's just like being involved in this and then seeing other bands, like following them on Instagram, being like, oh yeah, there's another band. Oh wait, I did see that this band played with this band that we're going to play with before, which is like cool. And then seeing like other bands be able to like go to bigger venues, you know, especially in the city, or they end up traveling. I know one band I've been listening to recently that's kind of local. I don't know if they're from exactly Aurora. I can't remember, but we ended up sharing the stage with Guardrail a few months back, and I know they're heading out towards southern, like Texas, kind of touring January, which is like really cool. So definitely been digging their stuff a lot recently.
Yeah, they're cool. They're a little heavier.
Yeah,
Which suits
I guess it like a little bit more up my alley.
a little closer to the 4 Year Strong sort of realm, which is cool.
Yeah.
As far as like favorite venues from the Aurora, I'm actually from like Elgin, and then I moved way more north, so I'm like 2 hours away from Aurora right now.
Basically,
Basically
Yeah.
in Wisconsin. Yeah. But I always like playing at West Chicago Social Club. It's just a fun venue. I really want to like. It's a hard play. I see it as a challenge because it's a big floor space. We've been a part of shows that were there where we've really been able to like fill out the crowd, but I want to like hack that place so badly. Every time I'm there, I'm like, there's still space, and it just I don't know why that specific venue just brings out like the competitive side of me. And I really want to pack that place. But we always play a good set there. The sound guys that work there are super cool, super cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And we always, like I said, we've always put like a really solid set there. Oh man, and I don't think that we've played with these guys, but one of my favorite local bands in the area is it's an Elgin band called Binks. Scotty, you and I have talked about them. Austin Dome.
I think
Awesome.
we've played with them. Maybe not.
We probably have played with them.
Yeah.
That was back in the old days. But Binks awesome. I think they're just a 2-piece right now. That I know they're just releasing they're just released some new music. But just a really good classic punk / like Midwest emo vibe. They really, I mean, they rip. They're awesome. So check them out.
For sure. Oh, and the question was also venues. Thanks for answering that question, Sean. I went off on a tangent. But another couple shout outs would be
gonna do a
the
shameless
Subterranean.
plug for venues, but we haven't.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say the
sure.
Subterranean.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
like, I
the
wanna do it.
Subterranean basement. So there's two venues in the Subterranean. There's like the upstairs where like, you know, like Real Friends or Action Adventure or, you know, whoever is gonna like come through and play like that. They'll probably play upstairs, and there's like basement venue too. And it's kind of like a rite of passage in the Chicago scene to be able to sell out the basement, you know, venue. So it's a lot smaller. It's probably like a maybe 100-person, 150-person, you know, venue. And so that's definitely one of like, when I started this project, I was like, I want to just play the Sub T basement, like, and I want to open for, you know, other regional bands. You know, we get bigger than that, cool, great. But like, I honestly just want to be able to. And when I told Sean that, he was like, "Oh, so you just want to go to free shows?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I want to create music. I want to have fun, and I want to go to free shows. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you bring up the Sub T show, because I remember all of us being absolutely terrified for that show, because I think that was the first time playing Sub T with you guys. But I remember my last time at Sub T was like from a horror movie. It was like everything that could go wrong went wrong. And then I remember you guys having a very similar situation with your last time playing Sub Ts, where it just didn't go well. And I think I remember us all being like, "This has got to be a good show." We were all under a lot of pressure, and then it killed. Weirdly enough, I think that was one of the most crowd participation we've ever had was from Sub T.
We brought a lot of people to you, but yeah, so that was a good show.
Yeah,
it was.
That was a fun time.
That's awesome.
I think. Sorry, not to stop you there, but we have a show coming up too at Reggie's, which is going to be weird because like, I've never played there. I've gone there a bajillion times. So being on the other side, just because I think they end up having 2 different kind of stage deals too. But just being on the other side at a venue that you've been to so many times is like kind of like, whoa, I've seen my favorite bands on this stage. All right, now I'm standing on this stage, you know. So I'm excited for that one coming up in January.
For sure.
So now I'm going to ask you guys some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you. I did this with the other bands I interviewed. Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Heck
Always.
yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. First one, favorite sports team?
Ooh, what sport?
Any sport.
Baseball.
Oh,
Baseball.
Cubs. Chicago Cubs.
Baseball.
Yeah, Cubs.
All right,
for
man.
me,
I'm a big
probably.
baseball guy, so.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we'll do Cubs. I like both. I root Chicago basically. So.
Yeah, I'm
but-
gonna probably go with both too. Like I'm not like one-sided. Cubs, Sox are cool with me. Probably get a lot of hate, but it's all right.
Hey, I mean, I'm not judging. I'm not from there. I'm not a Sox fan. I don't like either Sox team, so for me, it's whatever.
Cubbies. I like Cubbies for sure.
Yeah, diehard Cubs fan. So,
Okay, cool.
When they
Yeah,
won in
so mostly
16,
Cubs.
dude, I was definitely crying.
Oh, dude, I was. Are you kidding?
It finally happened.
Oh man, I remember I was in Florida when that was going on, and like that game went so late too. That was like that. It went into like midnight. It was crazy, and I remember not having like I just had to watch phone updates because I had to go to work in like 3 hours. So I was just laying in bed, scrolling, like refreshing the
Yeah.
play-by-play of what's going on, and yeah, and then they finally won. It was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to pick a favorite out of all those teams, it'd probably be the Cubs, just because I visited the ballpark and I freaking loved it. I love the area. My grandmother, she's from Andersonville,
Okay.
so I have ties to the area. She was born and raised in a Swedish neighborhood and went to a Swedish church and all that stuff is still there, which is really freaking cool. So yeah, I feel like I kind of have to, like, to a certain degree, support the Cubbies.
Wrigley's cool, man. I
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of grew up going to a
Fun.
lot of Sox games, so I was always kind of more Sox leaning. But Wrigley's a neat field. What's your favorite team, Dave?
For baseball, it's the Atlanta Braves,
Nice.
and
Nice.
if I had for hockey, it's New Jersey Devils because I'm from Jersey.
Nice.
And here's a thing that might surprise you guys a little bit. I'm a big European football guy, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big Manchester United fan.
United.
I'm a Red Devil. I'm a Red Devil represent.
It's been a rough couple years, man. But
Oh, absolutely. I'll admit it. I'm the first to admit it that right now, like, they stink. The players just, they don't have the right players. Manager is to be determined. As of right now, I'd say maybe go in a different direction.
Mhm.
Owners, they stink. They need to go. They need like a legit director of football, like a legit guy that's going to be like, this is the direction that we're going in.
yeah, it's been rough for you guys.
Who's your team?
Highlights. I love European soccer too. So my main team is Real Madrid.
Okay, I respect that. I really do
That's my
respect
number
that.
one team. But I like the Bundesliga too, and I always root for Dortmund
Okay, I respect that too.
at Dark Horse,
Okay, I
But
can get behind those. I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous that you were going to see maybe like Liverpool or like Man City.
I mean, I like Man City, but I wouldn't say they're like my favorite team. Like my diehard is Real Madrid for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I can respect that. I like a lot of their players, like Tony Cruz and Luka Modric and Jude Bellingham.
He's killing it.
It's crazy. Luka's 36, 38, and he's still absolutely like tearing it up. It's absolutely insane. But that's another thing you don't get me started on. Is not just music, but like European football and sports and all
For
that.
real.
That's cool.
If you guys could be fluent in another language instantly, what language?
Well, Josh is already fluent.
I wouldn't say any more. All right, you're fluent in one language.
Spanish.
That's true.
But...
Yeah.
Well, that's not a language. You're like, yeah, but it's just Spanish. Like,
But
That counts. Spanish
that
counts.
totally counts.
Yeah.
I'll probably choose like Japanese.
That would
for
make
any
sense.
purposes.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'll go with
sick.
Japanese.
It's a
too.
long road, dude.
Can you say anything in Japanese?
Me?
Josh can.
Eric, can you say anything?
Yeah, Eric, can you say anything?
I say I know Nani. I know so.
Yeah, that sounded pretty good.
Konnichiwa, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
But
joking.
Josh knows how to talk.
Yeah, not as much anymore. It's been a while. It's been definitely like 2.5 years since I've like studied it. Because that's when I right before COVID hit, my partner and I, we flew to Japan to work. So we, in 2020, 2021, we were living in Japan during the whole COVID scenario, which was like a crazy experience. So I was able to end up
I'm jealous.
if you ever get the chance to get out there, it's awesome. It's a great time. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like, because I guess my situation is a little bit different than Eric's situation. You probably grew up with it, with family, so it's just you're around it every day. For me, it was more like college classes, very like, all right, here's the textbook, you're gonna learn it kind of thing, as opposed to like naturally kind of being in the environment. But it's like having the verb positions in different ways and trying to flip it around and stuff like that. Like they say, like it's like the furthest from English. Some parts of it are like super far, where it's like, for example, like I play baseball, it'll be like I baseball play, it's kind of like the structure would be. So if you get into more complex sentences, you can see how that gets like confusing. And then there's definitely been times where like, where words sound the same. There was like one time, this is always like, this is how you learn not to like screw it up ever again, when you like embarrass yourself, when like a local's like, what did you say? So I went to go get ice cream, and they had this like black sesame ice cream and black sesame seed. And I was like interested in getting it. And I think I just learned the word for it like maybe like a couple days ago. And I was like, perfect, I can use this in real context, blah, blah, blah. And I went to go order it. And the person at it was like a little vendor outside, and they're looking at me weird, like what? Like Eric said, like, Nani? Like Moichito, like, one more time, can you say it again? And I was like, this is my accent, you know what I mean? So I say it again, and I point to the picture, and he's like, okay. He ends up giving me the ice cream, and I walk away, and I'm like, why didn't he understand me? I swear to God, I was saying it right. But I was asking, actually, if I could have a scoop of my grandchild to eat. So, yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's I'm never gonna do that again.
I was in the same thing, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
So that was like funny, and I was like, okay, wow. So, but yeah, if I had a choice, I would definitely, if I had more time, definitely dive back into it.
How long do you think it would take you to become fluent again? Do you think?
Well,
I
guess fluency is like an interesting, like, not to be all like
someone's grandkid.
What's up?
If we dropped you back in Japan, how quickly are you not going to order someone's grandkid?
Probably a couple months. I don't know. It might be like training wheels, or like riding a bike where you get back on it and you're like, oh, I'm a little rusty, But like everyday kind of conversation, if you go to a store and stuff like that, or ordering a restaurant, trying to find yourself, try to get around, that stuff was like pretty easy to navigate. But if you're gonna ask me to talk about like, physics, then that fluency is gonna be something completely where I'm like, yeah, I'm out. So,
I can't even talk physics in English, so
yeah, right. But yeah, learning all the like the kanji symbols and stuff like that, that's like crazy. Just having like those like kind of pictograms, and you're like, wow, this actually means something. And when you put them together, they mean something else.
Really?
So I don't want to keep going on, but yeah, that stuff is like wild. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott? What language?
Yeah, I went Japanese too. I think you if you're gonna learn something instantly, like Dave said,
Yeah.
something really complicated would be good, because I'm already halfway there on Spanish. Just gotta keep practicing. And I feel like a lot of the other European languages, especially that are like adjacent to those regions, are relatively similar. But like Chinese or Japanese, it'd be nice. Just like now you know it.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
I'm different. I would really like to like actually learn Tagalog, which is the widely spoken language in the Philippines.
Oh,
My wife is Filipino
sweet.
and is very fluent in it, and I'm not. And I would love to know, because her and her sister will switch to Tagalog when they're on their iPad, and I know they're not talking like
talking
their
about you.
parents want her to talk. And I want to hear how actually foul-mouthed she is, because I feel like she does swear, because she doesn't swear in English. So I feel like she's like actually like a freaking sailor in Tagalog, and I just don't know. And that would be really fun. I've already started like, I mean, her and I've been together for 10 years. So like I've always been like learning, but it's just a really slow process. It's hard to learn a language that's not very accessible. Like in the States, meaning like in Spanish, like I could, like any streaming service that I watch, I could switch to like Spanish or put Spanish subtitles on, and I can just sit there and practice. It's difficult to do that. And that's how that's how I would like to learn. I mean, it's just take like American content, a show I've seen 1,000 times, and just switch the language and then put subtitles back on English. And then just kind of get used to hearing it, and then kind of like hearing how, okay, that was one word. I have enough of a grasp on Tagalog to like differentiate between sentences, phrases, and words. Like I can hear the pause, I can hear I think the word's diction, but I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so I feel like what I just need to either be totally immersed in it, or just have like a really solid way of like I said, the streaming example, and that would really help me push me over the edge. But it would be also just wonderful to just wake up and know it. So I'll take that superpower if I could. Like something that I've never learned before that I would love, like it is on my list of things to do, is actually ASL, American Sign Language. I think that would, and that that to me counts as another language. I think that would be so cool to learn that.
That's the best answer for this question, because we need to learn American Sign Language so it shows we can communicate with each other. Like
That's
dead
what I'm
serious.
saying. Oh, that that's
Yeah.
so
like, hey, did you grab the cord? Like whatever that sign would be. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I
There's
got
that
you.
one
Yeah.
person coming to the pop punk show on a Sunday night at West Chicago Social Club that knows that we're yelling at each other in sign language.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's just that
That would be absolutely incredible to see.
oh,
Yeah.
I would pay a lot of money for that, just to see you guys
Right?
doing this.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
That's
that'd be
amazing.
sick.
So if you guys could go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
One word.
Oh man,
That's not fair.
one world leader.
World leader.
Like you just say, talk to him.
Yeah, go back in time and you can talk to him and ask him questions. Like, who would it be?
That's tough. We obviously have not thought of that one too much. I mean, I'll stick with a musical one maybe, and just go like it'd be cool to talk to like Mozart or someone like that, to just kind of like
A world leader.
see.
Honestly, I have an answer, but don't take it the wrong way, guys. Please.
Dude,
no.
I'm offended. Oh, I'm just joking. Guys.
So
Sorry.
honestly, like if we're just gonna talk to them and ask them questions, I would honestly talk to like Hitler, like a no lie, to see exactly like what he was thinking, like why.
Conversation.
He was on drugs, bro.
Well, I don't know. It's
No, yeah.
I'm not saying like cool, like Hitler was cool. That dude was an a-hole, but like I think generally that'll be very interesting to see like his responses.
Yeah.
It
It
might
would
be
be
like
interesting too, because knowing the history of, depending on when you ask him questions,
yeah.
what's to come up,
It would
I
be
know he ended up
like, because he fought in World War One. I don't know why I know this, but I do. He fought in World War One as just like a soldier.
Yeah.
So I think like before he was like the guy in power, having a conversation with him then would actually be really interesting, because I feel like that's before, because he failed at being a painter because he wasn't good at it, apparently. And then and then World War One blew off, and then I think he either was told to or just enlisted. And so he had already kind of developed like a tactical mindset. So I feel like talking to him post World War One, pre World War II would be actually a really interesting time to talk to that dude. But before you leave, you got to kick him in the nuts. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, yeah, there's no way.
That's a tough question.
I have one actually. I would love to go hang out, talk to. I want Steve Irwin. Just going and hanging out with Steve
that's a good
Irwin
one.
and just
That'd be
going,
sick.
helping him film one of his episodes, and just going and just literally following the guy and just doing what he does. I feel like that would be just such a such a treat. That would be so cool. I mean, he's the king of animals. He's I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like,
It's fair.
Crikey, get under me.
Yeah.
Watch me as I get right behind it.
That was really good. That was a really good impersonation.
Hey, thanks.
I'm gonna start calling you Josh Irwin.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah, man, world leader. You know what? I would probably say like FDR, just because the amount of like programs and stuff he was able to like push out at that point in history, you know, and to like help America through that time period, like the World War, post-war, you know.
Yeah.
And then two, like he couldn't stand, and he was able to hide it from most of America.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So at least if I remember my history correctly, there's a point. He had polio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he ended up not being able to stand, and most of the American public didn't know their leader couldn't stand. You know, isn't that crazy to think about too? Like now, it's just like if the president couldn't even stand up, it's just like
It's a meme.
No comment.
yeah, it's a meme exactly. But this dude, he was just like, he's like, yeah, this program and this, and I'm gonna build all these safety nets and blah blah blah.
Yeah. That's
Would
true.
you let him in on the secret? The secret
What's
to like cure polio, or would you cure?
The secret to
Yeah.
Would you
If he
give
could
him
last a couple more years.
He did try to
Antidote right here.
he did try to keep
And-
his position a little bit too long, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But Steve, maybe we tell Steve, hey man, that stingray is gonna get you. Just
Yeah,
You gotta tell him that don't go swimming that day. Just don't go
Yeah.
swimming.
don't go swimming that day.
Stingrays, stay away, bro.
Yeah, right.
Freaking Stingrays.
Oh, maybe we go back and talk to the mother of the kid from Harambe. Just tell her like go to the aquarium instead.
Yeah. Tinfoil cap on for that whole timeline.
Rest in peace, Harambe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Harambe.
That was like what 10 years ago. How long ago was that now?
When everything just went
I
south,
think it was
man. Let's be honest.
2016, right?
Was it 16?
15 or
The
16.
Cubbies won.
Yeah.
Lost Harambe. It was
Wait.
not a good trade-off.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. Last question. What are some places in Aurora that visitors should check out?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, you got this.
So in Aurora, in downtown Aurora, we have like a local coffee shop. It's called Indiro. Definitely recommend going there. Good breakfast spot as well too. There's also a bagel shop called Jake's Bagels on Broadway, right by the train station.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That place is awesome.
Amazing.
Bagels, man. Homemade, like everything's made there. The cream cheese, the coffee. It's awesome.
I know if you keep
cream
oh,
cheese.
sorry.
I said cream cheese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
that good though. It deserves a second mention.
We have a place called Harner's Bakery.
I was about to mention that. Just north of there. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
Really good restaurant by the river. I guess it's technically like North Aurora, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
it's all the
It's
same.
right there. Yeah.
And really good pastries, man. Oh,
Yes. Yeah, dude, they're donuts.
good, man. So freaking good. You got a lot of taco places too in Aurora. Like it's like taco capital, basically.
Oof. Now
Yeah.
you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
So have you ever come out here in Chicago, hit up Aurora, man, for the Hispanic food? Because we have like Mexican, we have like Salvadorian, Puerto Rican.
Mm.
Yeah.
Brazilian.
No,
There's a Brazilian place right by the coffee shop too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting so
and-
hungry now. Thank you.
Yeah, for real. For real. We also have a cool mall area. There's a big, probably one of the bigger malls in the area in Aurora. Technically, I always considered it like the Naperville Mall, but technically in Aurora.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
like outlet?
No, we're talking
we got
Fox
the Outlet Mall
Valley.
too. So we all basically have two gigantic malls in Aurora.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
that's
So
right.
if you're into
the
that
outlet
sort of
mall.
thing, but even outside of the malls, like there is some really cool stuff just in that area because like they have this new section now where there's like all these Asian restaurants and grocery stores, which is really cool. Some really cool
Cool.
boba spots and all that.
I know Aurora also too has I believe it's called the River Edge Stadium there
Yeah.
too, right along the river. So there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of musical acts that'll come through there. A lot of big name acts, like Megadeth has played there before, and so,
Yeah, they did. That was intense.
At least I think they were gonna play there. But yeah, there's been a lot of actually bigger name acts that come through, which is great to see because you're just like, wow, this is so close to home. You know.
But yeah, man, Aurora's on the come up. It's changed a lot living here my whole life. It's really nice now. So I'm happy.
You'll have to take me to all those places when I get out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Come hang out.
Definitely. We'll get some coffee, talk European football.
Yes, please. And then we can hit up some tacos and go to the malls because
There you go.
what they say, make malls great again.
Yeah.
I missed that shit. That's funny.
All about the mall life.
Hell yeah.
Same.
You don't want to eat a Cinnabon.
That's good to
What
say.
about the pretzel place? Andy's
All right.
or whatever.
The
Annie
Auntie
Ann.
Anne's. Bro.
Auntie Ann, thank you.
Of course, is it?
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on, chatting up a little bit, and the support means the world to me.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
having
you,
us. Thanks
man.
for doing all the
Thank you
hard
very
work you do.
Thank you.
You do a lot to keep the scene alive, and
Yeah.
and that's huge. I think the online community is kind of where it's at. Like I was saying earlier, there's just so much you can do with your time. And I feel like you provide really good content for people, and so thanks for all the hard work you do.
Yeah,
Well, I
for
wouldn't
sure.
be able to do without you guys, so all good.
Appreciate it.
So for the people that are going to watch this later, where can they find your music at?
Yeah, everywhere you can stream. Obviously, we do have a website too. If you go to bandzoogle.com/commit this to memory. Bandzoogle is a really cool website if you're in a band. But bandzoogle.com/commit this to memory, because you have links to everything there. So, but we're on TikTok, Facebook, all of that. So, and Bandcamp too. So,
Listen to Meant to Be on Spotify. Yeah, for sure.
please.
Only
Reach.
Pretty
Do it,
pretty
Nick.
please.
Do what the
Video
man
coming out
says.
soon.
Song's
Do what the
awesome,
man
and you
says.
guys are
Also,
killing it.
Thank
That
you.
shit's Phil
yeah, I
Disney.
appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Well, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll chat soon.
Totally.
Yep, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Appreciate
You too.
Of course,
Yep.
anytime. Peace.
Yep.
Later,
Have a good
man.
one.
See ya.